Once again, Sadiq is using another excuse to bash Brexit, Britain and British people by jumping on a new bandwagon of Eurovision and Ukrainians. So, we're going to call him out. Alright, in case you didn't know, we are currently governed by a bunch of idiots who are pushing for globalism. They're not really even internationalists, they're not really pro-free trade, they're not really pro-free markets, they are simply going with the vested interest, whether it's their own lobbyists and corporations who just fund their own campaigns, and everyone has their own agenda. That makes sense. Sadiq Khan's agenda is Sadiq Khan. As usual, he's seeking attention. We've heard that Eurovision is going to be hosted by the UK next year, and because it was supposed to be in Ukraine and it can't for obvious reasons. Now, the situation is that globalism is going way too far, up to a point where politicians are completely ignoring British identity and self-determination. That's why we've started our campaign, our new movement, to build back Britain against the globalist version of it that's Build Back Better. You can actually, if you want to get one of these t-shirts, the link is in the description. Check it out for yourself. But first, let's talk about this guy, the Mayor of London, who is the king of virtue signalling. He is going around every single day, painting London pink and rainbow colours and everything else. It doesn't really do anything for justice or equality or fairness. He's simply going out there to get the support without actually helping anybody. Now, this was the interview he did yesterday when he was talking about Eurovision being hosted by the UK, and he's so proud that we are going to bring it to London. He's already decided that he's going to be the organizer and everything. So the problem I have is firstly this part, because he's mixing it with Brexit and the European Union for some reason.
We're incredibly welcoming, we're inclusive. We're also pro-Europe. The fact that we left the European Union is a source of real sorrow to me. We're outside the EU, but we're not outside of Europe. And having a Eurovision in London, where we've got thousands of Londoners of Ukrainian origin.
Why? Why would you bring it up? I mean, if he actually, at the end, he said himself that, we're outside the European Union, but not Europe. Then why did you mention the European Union? Ukraine is not in the European Union. Eurovision has nothing to do with the European Union. When you have Israel, when you have Australia, a part of this competition, makes absolutely no sense why you want to use that as another political tool to attack and bash Brexit Britain. That's the only reason he did that, because he doesn't really care. He probably doesn't even actually watch Eurovision. I don't know. He wasn't watching it until he became a politician and London mayor. These people don't really know. They're not really in touch with society. They don't really get the pulse of a bunch of Londoners who actually voted to leave. It wasn't like Remain got 100% of the vote in this city. It wasn't really the case that 48% turned out to be like everybody now completely regretted the vote, so that 48% is now 80% of the country. It doesn't work that way. But he made it worse, because he then decided to, that was the bandwagon of Eurovision, then he decided to jump on the bandwagon of completely Ukrainians by saying, let's just turn London into a party for Ukrainians.
Of Ukrainian origin, thousands of people from Ukraine who fled Ukraine. Would be a great way for us to have a Ukrainian party, a Londoners party. We could have the best of Ukraine, Londoners from diverse backgrounds, and who knows, we may even win it.
2 times he's won the election in London, twice in a row. I mean, partly because the Tory candidates were not really perfect. Secondly, because that this city, London, is not a Labour city. It's a anti-Tory city, and there's a massive difference. People are not socialists here, not everybody, unless you go to Islington. That's like a different area. But the problem is that he's not actually going to do anything, even for the Ukrainians in London, in that sense. He joined the bandwagon again of all the celebrities who said a while ago, well, let's just open our mansions and our doors to all the innocent refugees, even if they're not, but then they just claim to be refugees. Let's just do that anyway. We're still waiting for them to house them. What happened to Gary Lineker and all the guys who came and said, and Emma Thompson and all the others? They wanted to do it. They have the big houses. Nothing actually happened. In the words of Theresa May, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Now we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the fishy Rishi Sunak and his new idea to digitalize the country, but really the government, as well as talking about why, for the first time ever, I kind of agree with Owen Jones. Just stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.